not getting away with a private thing.
Can we move to the question, please?
Sorry, an issue in our own money. So I'm here to condemn any one of you characters, any one of you parties here, who doesn't agree that the Bank of Canada should once again be issuing our own money. And believe me, I will.
Okay, let's have two or three more questions, and then
well,
let's have
it's
some more
not
questions.
fair, you know, like you let the people talk and you not let us talk a little bit, at least 3 questions each. They just be fair. They are able to speak as long as they want. Anyway, the 3 issues I have is the marijuana, the toxic waste emissions, and the dissemination of information. Marijuana. How can you possibly tell us that it is organic marijuana? Because as far as my son, who is 16, tells me that drug dealers are telling the kids, oh, this is good for you. You know, your parents probably did it. And on those bases, David Suzuki has said this is totally wrong. Today, it is contaminated. The seed is chemical engineered, number 1, the seed, so even if you have the seeds in your home. Number 2, it is mixed with other chemicals that are extremely toxic. I have attended groups of parents who have the kids with marijuana, with mental issues that are extremely costly to the health system and to the kids. Their mental health and their body health is totally disrupted. So please do not support marijuana under those circumstances unless you personally verify that they are selling organic marijuana. Number 2, toxic waste emissions, cell towers and cellular phones and wireless internet. All this is proven. One counselor, Adam Bond, has it in his website. Plus, from Peterborough University, there is a doctor that supports information to people about the cellular towers that we have in the roofs of high-rise buildings. 20 cellular towers in some neighborhoods. This is insane. People don't even know how the cellular towers look like. I have interviewed people and they tell me that they have 5 head scanners, MRIs 5, and the doctors can't figure out what's wrong with it. If you multiply that, our health system is going to break down. Number 3, dissemination of information. I agree with many of you, but what are you doing to disseminate the information you have to everybody? The people that are here, we can understand more or less what you're telling us, but in general, you have to create fun events for thousands of people attend, and then have the people that are suffering all the issues they're mentioning and speak in those events. That's when you will have hundreds of people attending the event. This format is good for a minority. Majority of people will not be attracted the way you advertise. They don't understand it. So how can you attend an event like this? Please organize next year fun events, and also people who are going through the issues of housing, of single parents or whatever, and they can speak, have people that know how to speak and communicate in order to be effective. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take the moderator's privilege and ask for Annie to come to the mic. Annie is a young Aboriginal woman, and I think she should be given a voice here to raise the questions and concerns that she has.
What is your position on Aboriginal family property?
Did you hear? Okay. So maybe some of the parties want to respond to the last set of questions, right? We've only got 5 minutes, so.
Okay, with respect to the 3 rapid questions, yeah, the prohibition of pot has perverted everything, and it's possible to have chemical pollution in pot. The problem with trying to organize anything better is we don't have any money. And, sure, all together, right? It's like, the big parties make money from elections. We don't. And that every election cycle, that automatically gets worse and worse. So all the great ideas about what we should do usually are really tough to do. And, with respect to the Aboriginal problem, I don't think I can sympathize with it, to tell you the truth, because I've never experienced anything like that. I grew up in an extremely privileged, upper middle class environment, had totally leisure to do education. I can't comprehend it, so I'm not going to try and answer. Yeah.
I'm quite familiar with Aboriginal poverty, and I would, and I think that there is a solution to that. And the first solution is to get the government out of that, out of the way. The Indian Act is, as was already stated, basically an act that separates the Indians and puts them into a special class, and that needs to be stopped. Indians need to be given property rights as Canadians need to be given property rights. And once they have property rights, they can then use their equity in their land to get loans, to build businesses, to do the things that other Canadians can do so that they can raise themselves up. Because right now they're treated as a special class and they're literally made dependent on the government, and that is wrong.
Aboriginal poverty is a shame, and part of it's a shame, and Canadian Action Party does want to work with the First Peoples National Party. What we'll mention is touch my soul. I lived in a Native community that I just watched lose all their land after I visited it after 21 years. And this is how we can all work in unity. We can listen to the platform of the First Peoples Nations. We can listen to the party platform of Animal Alliance and work together and solve these problems, because basically what Canada is facing now is exactly what you faced happen to yourselves, and it's a shame, and it shouldn't happen, and you should be proud of your land, and we need to make it right again, and I hope you can guide us to show us how to make it right again.
The situation that is the reality in our society when we talk about what it is, this process we're in called a democratic process. There are more of you than there are Aboriginals. So guess what? It's already disproportionate, and they are going to stay where they are because of that reality. The First Peoples National Party made 2 missions, and one of them, the first, was about education. If each and every one of you stop and think about what you know about Aboriginal history in this country, what the treaties are and the Constitution and the rights that are inherent, that are to be upheld by law but are not being so. What do you know about this? And imagine, what do the politicians know that are making the decisions? 0. If we're going to deal with Aboriginal poverty, realize that's the first step before it's going to happen to you. Because that's been the barometer, as I said earlier. The reality is anything that's going to happen to the rest of Canada has already been happening to Aboriginal people. So the key here is, first and foremost, we need to honor those treaties, give rights to Aboriginal people that have been denied them since contact, provide opportunities for them to have a place in the decisions. Think about it. Any country that excludes its Indigenous peoples from its systems of government is a colonizing country. Wake up to that simple fact. Anyone that thinks otherwise contributes to the process of genocide at a snail's pace called assimilation. Package it how you want. It's genocide. If we have children that are born in this country that are Aboriginal and never get to speak their language, that is genocide. Think about it. So I invite you, whatever party that is out there that supports Aboriginal peoples and their issues to gain the rights that are rightly theirs, it's not about a second class or a special privileged society. It's recognizing that these are treaties and promises not kept. And we are the inheritors and perpetrators of it continually by doing nothing and saying nothing. So we want to share. We invite you to share your voices, to ask government to move on that, to eliminate what that youth and he had said was in order to eliminate poverty for youth and Aboriginals is an opportunity to find solutions to eliminate the problems with the rest of Canada.
Thank you, William. I think that we're going to end this period here with William. That was the time allotted. Now we've got half an hour for informal discussion, so I apologize to all of you who were waiting to ask a question, and I apologize to all of you who gave me questions that I didn't get to read, but I think what this demonstrates is the enormous amount of energy and goodwill that's out there, and the few spaces that we have to genuinely engage in democratic debate and democratic possibilities and democratic hopes in this country. So we're going to open it up for the next 30 minutes to informal discussion, so I guess you can come forward and talk to the different parties. And thank you very, very much for coming out.
Is it anything possible to ask all you guys how many candidates you're running in this election?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I have one.
Blair,
46.